Hi everyone, how you doing? You're welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. On today's video, we'll be cutting and drafting this bustier gown with yoke. On the thumbnail is a corset, but I made mine a bustier. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and if you have any question, I'll be on the comment section to answer any question. So guys, let's get into it. So this is the pattern paper I'm working with. The first thing I did, I came down by 1 inches for my startup line. Then I came in by 1 inches. This will serve as my center front. Now the next I have to do is to come down from this my startup line, also known as the shoulder line, by my bust point. The bust point I'm working with is 10 inches. I'll mark down 10 inches here. Then for the under bust, I'll come down by 13 inches. Shoulder to under bust, 13 inches. Shoulder to half length is 16 inches. Now connect these lines together. I'm done with the connecting of the lines. The next I have to do now is to get the width of my neckline. The width of the neckline I'm working with is 3 inches, and the depth also is 3 inches. It's always good to label your pattern. But we'll be making use of this pencil. My marker pen has finished and I've not gone out yet. So when I go out, I will get another marker pen. But on this video, we'll make use of pencil. So yeah, I'll write down my bust point, under bust, then the half length. So now I'll connect this neck width together. Next I have to do is to drop my shoulder measurement. The shoulder I'm working with is 14. 14 divided by 2 will give me 7 inches. I'll add half inches for sewing allowance. And I'll mark my 7.5 here. Then I'll come down by 1 inches. So now I'll connect this 1 inches mark to the width of my neckline, which is the shoulder slope. The next I have to do is to get the chest line. To get your chest line, you divide your bust by 6 plus 1.5. The bust I'm working with is 36. 36 divided by 6 is 6 plus 1.5. That's 7.5. So now I'll come down here and mark 7.5 for my chest line. So now I'll connect this line. Now the next I have to do is to bring down my shoulder measurement on my chest line, which is 7.5, and put it here. It's always good to label your pattern. Here we'll write chest line. So now I'll connect this line with a straight line like this. So now this is a guide for our armhole. The next I have to do is to divide the line by 2. So I'll do this like this and mark. Then I'll come in by half inches. On this mark I came down by 1 inches. I'll connect to this half inches like this on a straight line. Then I will use my French curve to finish up. So we are done with the armhole. The next we have to do now is to drop the nipple to nipple point. To get your nipple to nipple point, you divide your box by 8. The bust I'm working with is 36. 36 divided by 8 will give me 4.5. So I'll minus 1 inches from that 4.5. Now it will give me 3.5. So yeah, I will drop down my nipple to nipple point, also known as the bust pan. On the under bust, I'll drop my nipple to nipple point, and on the half length, I'll drop my nipple to nipple point. Now I'll connect this line. So now the next I have to do is to open my dart. On the half length, I'll open the dart by half inches. I'll come here and mark half inches. I'll go here also on this other center front. I'll mark half inches. So now come down for my bust point by 1 inches because the dart is not getting to the bust point. Now connect this half inches mark to this 1 inches I came down from the bust point like this. The next we have to do now is to divide our bust. The bust I'm working with is 36. 36 divided by 4 will give me 9 inches. I'll mark down 9 inches here. On the half length, I'll divide my waist by 4. The waist I'm working with is 32. 32 divided by 4 will give me 8 inches. I'll mark down the 8 inches here. Then I'll check what I have on my dart. It's 1 inches. I'll put down the 1 inches back. So now we have 9 inches. Now connect this with a straight line. Now the next we have to do is to get the difference between my front and back, which is 2 inches. On the bust point line, I'll come down by 2 inches and mark. So now I'll connect this to my nipple to nipple points like this. You can see the way I place my ruler. This is how I'll connect. Now the next we have to do is to tighten the under bust. So to do that, you have to measure your round under bust. The round under bust I'm working with is 29. 29 divided by 4 will give me 7.25. Now I'll mark down my 7.25 here. And I will check what I have left. I have 1.75. On this center front here, which is this dart leg, I'll put down half inches. You can see the way I put down my half inches here. Then on this other dart leg here, I'll come and put the half inches here like this to mark 1.75. So now connect this. Like the first thing you have to do is to connect it back to your nipple point. You can see the way I'm placing my French curve like this. Then I will turn my French curve to this other side and do the same thing. So now the next we have to do is to connect this mark we have here to the dart leg like this. And I'll do the same thing also on this other dart leg. The next we have to do now is to divide the shoulder into 2. So now I'll divide my shoulder by 2. I have 4.5 here. 4.5 divided by 2 will give me 2.25. So now I'll connect this mark I have here to my nipple to nipple point this way. You can see how it is. Now the next we have to do is to get the neckline. On this my depth of my neckline, I will come down by 5 inches because we want to do the illusion of Queen Anne neckline. I'll come down by 5 inches. This will give me guide, as in the cleavage. Now I'll now come from this my shoulder measurement here on my shoulder down by 7 inches. Now I will mark this like this. To get your neckline, you place your French curve this way. You can see the way I place my French curve, and I'll connect like this and remove my curve and turn, because it's a sweetheart neckline but not that sharp sweetheart neckline. So I'll continue this way and I will turn the French curve to this other side like this. See the way I place my curve, and now continue to the armhole like this, to my armhole. You can see how it is. Now to avoid gaping when you bend down, you have to tighten this shoulder dart. So from this line here, I'll come in by half inches here, and I'll do the same thing also on this other side, half inches. I'll connect the center front with a straight line like this. On the side front, I'll make use of my French curve like this by 0.25. So by the time we fold in the joining, to not be too long. You can see now it will be equal. That is why I came up by 0.25 on that center front. Cut out my yoke. Now I will open this up so that I can close in my bust dart. Now I can close in the bust dart this way. When you close your bust dart now, you will not, the gaping at this side there, you will blend up. To blend up, you make use of your ruler just to connect back to your bust point like this. So now continue with my cutting. I'm done with the cutting of the bustier. The next we have to do now is to work on the yoke. To work on your yoke, these 3 inches we have for the width of the neckline, we connect it to our shoulder dart like this. So now cut out my yoke. We are not using this. So this is my back pattern. The first thing I did, I came down by 1 inches. This is the startup line. Then I came in by 1 inches. This is for my zipper. So zipper allowance. Now the next we have to do is to get the width of the neck. The width of the neck I'm working with is 3 inches and the depth is 1 inches. So now connect this. So after connecting the width of my neck, now the next we have to do is to get the shoulder. The shoulder I'm working with is 7.5. So I'll mark 7.5 here and I'll come down by 1 inches for the shoulder slope. And I'll connect this 1 inches now to the width of my neckline. So now next we have to do is to get the chest line. The chest line I'm working with is 7.5. I'll come down by 7.5 and I will draw a straight line. This is my chest line. After doing that, now we have to get from shoulder to waist. For the back, we'll be using 14 inches because the front and back is not the same length. The back length is 14 inches. So I'll mark my 14 inches here and connect the lines together. The next we have to do now is to drop the shoulder measurement on the chest line. Now I will divide this line by 2. 7.5 divided by 2. I will mark here and I will come in by ½ inches. Then connect. So now next we have to do is to drop the nipple to nipple point. So the nipple to nipple point I'm working with is 3.5. To get your own nipple to nipple point, divide your bust by 8, then minus 1 from it to give you your nipple to nipple point. So this is mine. Now I'll connect this line together. Now I'll open my dart on ½ inches. I'll do the same thing on this other side also on ½ inches. So now I'll come down by 1 inches for my chest line because my dart is not getting to the chest line, and mark. Now I'll connect my darts together. After getting the darts, now we have to eliminate that back bulge. So now I'll come in for my waist by ½ inches and mark. So now I'll come down for my neck width at the back and mark 3 inches here. Now connect this ½ inches I have here to this 3 inches mark here, like this. Now the next we have to do is to divide the bust by 4. The bust I'm working with is 36. 36 divided by 4 will give me 9 inches. Yeah, I'll put down my 9 inches. After this mark I have here, after this line, that's where I'll put down my 9 inches and mark. Then on the waistline, I'll divide my waist by 4. The waist I'm working with is 32. 32 divided by 4 will give me 8. From this ½ inches we have for the back bulge that we used to eliminate the back bulge, that's where I will drop my 8 inches. Yeah, this way, like this, and mark. Add my dart allowance, which is 1 inches. Now connect these lines together. So guys, I'm done connecting the lines together. Now the next we have to do is to mark our new zipper allowance. So from this ½ inches I came in, I'll mark my zipper allowance, which is 1 inches. This is the new zipper allowance. I'll come here also and mark 1 inches. I'll do this to the up of this half length. So now connect the lines together. This is it. Now cut this out. Then we'll cut the skirt pattern. So guys, I'm done with the cutting of the back. You can see how it is. This is my side front. It's always good to label your pattern. Side front, center front, then side back, center back, and this is the yoke for the front. So we are done with the half length. Now we have to work on the skirt block, so I'll keep this aside. So to cut your skirt block, you minus the half length from your full length, then it will give you your skirt block. The half length, you might, let's say the length of my gown is 58. By the time we minus 16 from it, we have 43. To cut this beautiful gown, the measurements you'll be needing is shoulder to floor length, shoulder to knee, your front length, back length, waist, the hip, your bust, shoulder to bust point, shoulder to under bust, the bust span, also known as the nipple to nipple point, your shoulder, sleeve length, your round sleeve. My pattern paper, I have 1 inch for the startup line. Then I came in by 1 inch for my center front. This is a guide that this is my center front. When we want to cut our center front, it must be on fold. So after doing that, now we drop the hip measurement. We've cut out the half length already, which is 16 inches. So now on the startup line here, that's where I'll put my 16 inches. The next I have to do is to get the hip line. Now I'll come down here by 26 for my hip line. Hip lines varies from 9 to 10 inches, but I will advise you measure your clients so you know their own hip line. After getting my own hip line, which is 26 measurement, before removing my tape, now I'll get the shoulder to knee. The shoulder to knee I'm working with is 37. So this is it. The remaining is my full length of the gown. So now connect these lines together. I'm done connecting the lines together. It's always good to label your pattern. This is my hip line, then the knee, then this is the waist, then this is the full length, which is 43 inches. You can see I joined my paper. Now the next we have to do is to get the bust span. To get your bust span, you have to divide your bust by 8 minus 1. So the bust span I'm working with is 3.5. So on my waist I'll come down by 3.5. Then the length of my dart will be 6 inches. Connect with a straight line. So now open my dart by ½ inches. So now connect the dart legs together. The next we have to do is to drop the waist measurements. The waist I'm working with is 32. 32 divided by 4 will give me 8 inches. I'll mark down 8 inches here. Then I will check what I have on my dart. I have 1 inches. I'll add it back 1 inches, which is 9 inches. Then on the hip line, I'll divide the hip by 4. The hip I'm working with is 38. 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.5. Then I'll drop my 9.5 on my hip line. Then on the new line, I will minus 1.5 from my hip to the new. But when you want it a peg skirt, you can minus 2 inches. But I don't want the skirt to be too fitted, so I will move 1.5 from my hip to the new, which will give me 8 inches. So here I will mark 8 inches. So now the next I have to do is to connect from waist to hip. This is my waist to hip. Then I will now connect from hip to knee. From the knee, I'll bring down what I have on my knee to the hem of my skirt, which is 8 inches, and I will mark 8 inches here. Connect with a straight line. I'm done connecting the line straight down to the hem. Now the next you have to do, on the waistline, you come down by 1 inches and mark. So now connect from this my waist measurement here to this 1 inches mark, like this. So this is it. We are done with the front pattern. So now cut this out, then we'll draft the back pattern. So this is my back pattern. I came in by 1 inches. This is the zipper. zipper allowance. Then this is my hip, and this is the new. Then up here is my waist. Okay, so now the first thing we do is to get the bust span. The bust span I'm working with is 3.5. Come down by 7 inches for my back dart length, and on this 7 inches I'll mark 3.5 for the darts. Now I'll connect with a straight line. Now I'll open my dart by ½ inches, and I'll connect the dart legs together. So now to tighten the back bulge, I'll come in on my center back by ½ inches. I'll connect this line to my hip line like this. Then the next we have to do now is to drop the waist measurement. The waist I'm working with is 32. 32 divided by 4 will give me 8 inches. You can see it's after the ½ inches I came in for zipper bulge. That's where I drop my waist measurement. Then I'll add 1 inches for dart intake and mark. Then on the hip line, I'll divide my hip by 4. The hip I'm working with is 9.5. 39 divided by 4 will give me 9.5, and I'll put down my 9.5 here. To get that peg effect I'm talking about, on the knee line, we move 1.5 from the hip to the knee. Now I will divide that 1.5 by 2. 1.5 divided by 2 will give me 0.75. So on this center back here, I will come in by 0.75. So we have to share it equally. I'll come by 0.75. Center back here, I'll just mark to my hip line like this. I have a detailed video on how to draft and cut a pencil skirt. On my side of my skirt, I will connect the 0.75 I have here from the hip like this. From the hip to the waist, connect from the hip to the waist. So now I had to add paper to this so I can get my hip line very well. So now we'll check what we have. It must correspond with the front. We have 8 inches for the nail. Now bring that same measurement down to the hem of my skirt. So now connect with a straight line. So now cut out. So I'm done with the cutting of the back. Please always label your pattern. This is my center back, this is my side back, and this is the front. Okay, this is my half length for the back, and this is the front, the bustier. I'll be sharing points on how to sew this kind of bustier, on how to pad it. I'll be dropping the sewing video soon. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this video with your sew friends, and please don't forget to leave your comments. I'll be at the comment section to answer any questions. Thank you, and thank you very much. See you on the next one. God bless you.